How do you do follow-up? That is what we're going to look at now. Follow-up meetings. How do you take an appointment for follow-up? Let me just briefly share with us how you can take an appointment for follow-up online. Okay, we'll just do a brief sharing. While you watch this video, I will try to explain as we go along. Oh, sorry. I'm having a little challenge with that. All right. Okay, our video is coming on. So normally I had someone who had received Christ, and so I will go to my Facebook and to my WhatsApp account to check the response of that person. Maybe we can just see. Here you have somebody who says, I followed your online training and it was really exciting. I also pray to receive Christ in my life as Savior. So where do you worship? And then I respond, this is online. I am excited to know that you prayed to receive Christ. That's really the best decision you ever took. Let me send you a page that you can read, and we'll discuss more about that. Would you like to grow in your faith so that the devil doesn't take over control? The person says, of course. I want to know more about Jesus. Which page is it? So I'm suggesting to them, and I'm telling them that I'm going to send them a page. So I now move on to God Tools, and I open God Tools, and I pick the 4 spiritual laws, and I share the 4 spiritual laws with them so that they can be able to, in our conversation together, they can be able to read the 4 spiritual laws before our next appointment. Okay, so I change the person's name so that you will not be able to see, know who it is. All right, there I have sent the 4 spiritual laws to them, and I asked them to be able to read through it. I said, please read through this. Let's discuss this evening. Is 7 p.m. Cameroon time good for you? And the person says, of course, 7 p.m. is okay for me. I would have settled down at home. So I said, okay, that's fine. I will be available. Let me pray for you. And so I want to pray for them. Of course, this is just the first contact. I am not available right now to be able to share with them, to begin follow-up with them. So I just take an appointment so that we can be able to do follow-up later in the day when I know I'll be more available and when I believe that they will be a little more available. So I now click and do an audio prayer for them so that they might be able to hear the prayer and feel encouraged from every harm and all evil. I pray that this wonderful decision that she has taken will draw her closer to you every day and will cause her to be able to have a mighty impact in your kingdom, in the name of Jesus. Preserve her, protect her in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, that's the prayer that I made for her. And of course, I did send the prayer so that she might be able to receive the prayer and know that she's prayed for and that I care. So many people are excited to have you pray for them. So just take off the time to pray for them. Now, the next thing is, how do you go about a follow-up meeting? Now, you can carry out effective follow-up meeting effectively in a simple way. First of all, before the meeting, you have what you do before the meeting, what you do during the meeting, and what you do after the meeting. Before the meeting, you want to pray for the meeting. You want to pray for the person. It could be just an individual. It could be that you're having a follow-up meeting in a group, follow-up group meeting online, on WhatsApp, or it could be on Facebook, or on Telegram or Instagram, or whatever application. So you pray for the meeting. Please, prayer is the key. Take time off to pray. I want to plead with you. Take time off to pray. Prayer is crucial, it's essential, it's important. Pray concerning the material you're going to share and prepare that material. Don't just get into a meeting, bash into a meeting, and then feel that you're going to be able to wing it and then just say anything. prepare the material. The past couple of days, we have given you some material. We have tried to inform you of what material you can use to pray. So I want to encourage you to personally engage in preparing your material before the meeting. Okay, you can go to everystudent.com. You can go to every student, the application, download it, look at material, and forward it to your people so that they can study it and you will share together. You can go to God Tools and pick out a portion of it and send to them to study. Preliminary meetings is best to begin with an evangelistic outreach again to your people. So that is why you saw me beginning with the 4 spiritual laws. That is best for the first meeting. You can go to first steps and take maybe the first step and share with your people in your group. And then, of course, inside of the group or with the individual, then they can read through it. And then together you can share. So you need to study the material yourself, be able to have the answers yourself, and then you can be able to use it effectively. The next principle is that be on time as far as the meeting is concerned. Do not give a person an appointment that will meet at 7 and then at 7 you are not present. So make sure that you give a time when you know you are going to be available no matter what, or you are going to sacrifice the time to become available. Try as much as possible. Remember, it's an appointment between you, God, and the person. Do not despise God. God is going to be present at that appointment. So don't despise God. If we're with the head of state, you'll be on time. So please be on time because you have an appointment with God and the person for the person's spiritual growth. Next, what do you do during the meeting? During the meeting, you want to be enthusiastic. You want to establish good rapport with the person, a good discussion with the person, establish a good relationship, be realistic about the questions the person answers, the needs of the person, and then keep your discussion centered around the Word of God. When I talk about creating rapport, it means discuss their personal things, personal issues that pertain to them, to their lives, and you can pray about that. Then later on, when you are now in the Word, make sure you center on the Word, focus on the Word, and try as much as possible to answer any questions that they might have. Also be time sensitive. Don't spend all of your time. Don't make it too long. Try as much as possible to make it as brief as possible so that you can be able to advance little by little and grow in the Word. Then finally, after the meeting, pray for the meeting. If it is a group, pray for the members of the group. If it's an individual, pray for the person. Pray in private as far as they're concerned during the meeting, but also pray after the meeting. So in the meeting, you can ask one person to pray, or you yourself, you pray when the meeting is beginning. You can just launch a word of prayer and you pray, an audio prayer and you pray. Or you can launch a video prayer and you pray. Or you can type out the prayer so that everybody is able to follow. But it's always very encouraging to pray for them and pray with them. You can also ask each person to pray one after the other, and they could record their prayer and send, and everybody's encouraged by that. And then you want to invite them to start witnessing after the meeting. Invite them to start sharing their faith with other people also. All right, so that is what you do when you want to do follow-up. This is a little bit of how the follow-up meeting runs: before, during, and after. Of course, during the meeting, you share the material that you have available. You share it with them, ask questions, and have them answer questions, have them discover for themselves. The approach we use is a discovery approach. You don't want to teach them, you don't want to tell them everything. You want them to discover. When they discover by themselves, then you can now add to what they have, what they have discovered. That way, what they have discovered will stick because they discovered it themselves, they found it themselves. So the questions that we use are generally conceived to provoke discovery, that individual discovery. Now, let us see how you can be able to do a meeting, a follow-up meeting, using texts. If you don't have audio, if you don't have a lot of data, you don't have good videos, you want to do a follow-up meeting by text, how can that be carried out? I'm going to get us to the video so that we can be able to follow through on that. Okay. Sorry. Our video will be coming up in a moment. All right, here you have a situation where my appointment, my evening appointment had already has started. And so here we are at the appointment. And I began by saying, good evening, Jane. How was your day? And then Jane said, well, it was good. It was good. Thank you for that prayer. I'm sure she wanted to say thank you for that prayer. And I said, okay, I also like, she said, I also liked that page you sent to me. It made the message so clear. I'm happy you liked it. That's my response. I even sent it to a friend also. That's what she tells me. He told me he loved the prayer. And then I said, okay, wow, that's great. Share the link with as many people as possible and ask them what they think of that prayer if they prayed. So I want her to be able to share it with other people. If they will also pray to receive Christ into their lives, that would be fantastic, of course. Okay, my video seems to not want to come on, but I think by hook or by crook, they're going to come on. Okay, I think the video is on right now and we can be able to follow through on that. So first thing is to create rapport. Good evening, how was your day? So I want to know how her day was. I want to know what the Lord has been doing with her. I want to know if she faced any challenges so that we can be able to pray together and I can be able to encourage her as far as her situation is concerned. That is my initial concern. We said pray before the meeting and then create rapport. So that is the rapport I was creating. How was your day? And of course, she explains what she has been going through. I'm not a machine. So I'm following through on or as what she's following through on what she's saying, just the way she's saying it. Now I say here that wow, share with as many people as you can. We are still in our discussion. And she says, okay, that's great. I'm planning to do that. She wants to share with as many people as possible. She's planning to share with them. Then I move on and said, okay, tonight I want us to be able to answer a few questions from the Bible and the page that I sent to you. I would also also send you a slide. You can read it and then answer the questions so that we can discuss together. Is that okay with you? So I'm going to send her the questions. I've preferred to use simple slides that will enable us to be able to discuss question by question, one after another, because it's in the evening and she'll probably be tired. So she said, okay, but I hope it's not too long because I'm a little bit tired. I said, well, they are brief. Here's one. So I sent one of the slides to her and she's able to see the slide and she's able to read the content of the slide. So I'm going to hold that so that we can be able to read it together and see the content of the slide. Now, this is the content of the slide. It says, the Christian life is not a mere standard of performance, a code of ethics, or a life of ritual. It is a vital personal relationship with God as he has revealed himself to man through Jesus Christ. That is what the first part says. The second part says that every Christian can have the assurance that a right relationship exists between himself and God. Without this confidence, it is impossible for one to experience true happiness and complete fulfillment in life. And there are two questions that go along with it. The first one says, share how you understand this in your own words. The second one says, what can trigger this assurance? So for those of us who know the basic follow-up material, the 6 follow-up lessons that Campus Today offers, they will know that this is drawn from those follow-up lessons. So when I share that, of course, she can turn it around and be able to view it better. When I share that with her, she can now respond to it. And then this is her response. I understand that the Christian life is not just rituals, but more of a relationship with God. Okay, that's what she understands. She says, I don't really know what can trigger assurance that Christ is actually in your life, of assurance of a good relationship with God. But she says, but maybe the fact that one knows that Jesus is in our lives can trigger that assurance. I said, well, that's great thoughts. You are right. When you know Jesus is in your life, you can have that assurance. You can have the assurance that Jesus Christ will never leave you and He will never forsake you. You can have the assurance of God's presence with you. So then I mistakenly sent a wrong slide, which is a slide in French, to her, and so I apologize for that. Sorry. And then I sent the right slide, which is what we have in English. And of course, this right slide has a number of questions. This right slide, which is the second slide, it says, where is Jesus in relation to you right now? And below it says, read the verse to answer the questions below. The verse is, of course, Revelations 3:20, which says, here I am, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and if anyone hears my voice and answers and opens the door, I will come in and eat with him and he with me. I asked a number of questions. What does the door represent? In the verse represent? What is Christ doing at the door? What does Christ want us to do? If we open the door, what will Christ do? How do you open the door for Christ? And then the sixth question is, how have you personally opened the door for Christ to come in? And the last question, where is Christ in relation to you right now? So those are the questions that I asked her. And then, of course, she has the opportunity to answer those questions. So she will obviously go through those different questions and try to give a response to the questions. So let us see what her response is to the questions. When she turns her phone, she can see it better. This is the response. She says, the door is my heart. And Jesus is knocking at the door. That's the second question. He wants me to open the door. That's in answer to the third question. And he will come into my heart. That is in answer to the fourth question. The fifth question, maybe when I pray, I am opening. So she doesn't know how you open the door. So she says, maybe when I pray, I'm opening the door. And then, of course, the next question, I have prayed for Jesus to enter my heart. So he is in me right now. So she has answered each of the questions. Where is Jesus right now in relation to you? She says, he is in my heart. So next, I ask her, I respond to that. I say, that's great. When you open the door of your heart, Jesus comes in and takes control of your life. So I'm helping her to understand that she's right in her responses. And yes, Jesus has come into her life because she has prayed and sincerely asked him to take the control of her life. Of course, I will eventually continue sharing with her, but because it is a short day, she's tired this evening, we're going to hold on here, and I'll send her a prayer, pray for her and thank her for that, and tell her that the next day I'll send her one slide after another. And throughout the course of the day, whenever she has a chance, she can read the slide and answer it, send me a response, and then I can send another slide. And in that way, follow-up becomes a part of life. It becomes a lifestyle. It is not an event, but it's a lifestyle that she can live and experience throughout the day. All right, we are going to end here for this current lesson, and we'll move on to the next lesson. Thank you very much. Let's just take a 1 minute break and then try to answer any questions that we might have. Okay.